outer world reflects what's the inner world, which right now, take a look at this old bell that they just digged up, y'all. This right here is in South Carolina. This bell weighs almost 560 pounds alone. Of course, they had to use one of the Tonka toys in order to dig it out of the earth because no man can lift that on its own. But you guys do know what bells were used for, right? You guys do know why we don't see them anymore, right? Why we don't hear them anymore. Remember we used to hear them all the time? Just take a look at all these bells over here. This was in the early 1900s. They gathered almost 170,000 bells all together and they destroyed them. Like over here. When bells are rung, they emit a powerful frequency and vibration that dispel negative energies, which in case promotes healing, health, wealth, abundance. Not to mention they ward off negative entities, parasites within you and around you. This is why big bells and certain bells were housed in churches, because churches was actually a place that you can go to heal thyself. Do you guys remember Spider-Man and Venom? Look at the scene over here when Spider-Man tries to release the Venom, the symbiote, the parasite. Y'all see how he rung the bell? And as soon as he rung the bell, the parasite, the symbiote, which is Venom, because it's in his veins, Venom, started coming off. And then started finding its way down to Eddie, which is the die, Eddie Brock, which is death. You see that? And it's the X. X marks the spot. That's where you would stand in order to heal yourself. They show you everything in these movies. Look at that. I hope you guys understand where I am getting at. They remove everything that promotes healing within. Because as long as we're not healed within, then the outer world reflects what's the inner world, which right now it's a lot of chaos. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, comment, and share for more videos like this. And this video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. I'm only raising awareness to interesting situations during these interesting times. Let's get this shift, y'all.
We need to take another look at our history, because the people before the pharaohs made something so perfect that it would be extraordinarily difficult to make now. In fact, we'd have to make tools that we don't even have now. No one tries to make something like this out of solid granite now because it's just too damn hard. Could we do it? Yeah, but you'd have to stand a team up. You'd have to invent some new tools and new approaches.
Right.
And hell, just to measure their perfection, you have to have tools that we didn't have 20 years ago or 30 years ago. You know, the point cloud scanners that they're determining the perfection from, we didn't have the ability. How do you make something so perfect when you don't have the tool to even determine the perfection? And to think it was made before the pharaohs, and the mainstream will tell you that.
Now this is a 3D print, or a 3D print that was done from a scan from one of the original bases, right?
That's exactly right.
So, right, how do you take one of the hardest stones that exists on Earth and create something that looks like it was built on a pottery wheel with these little handles that are built into it? They're part of it. They're not added on after. So that rules that out.
It's almost like they put them there just to tease you and say, hey, by the way, let's just make sure you know I didn't turn this. This wasn't turned,
right,
at least at that part. Now, what'd they do? At that part, they went and used their copper chisels and...
Now, these are also these are the only ancient Egyptian artifacts that have been like 3D scanned with laser scanners from, like, I know the aerospace department at Rolls-Royce with Christopher Dunn's son. They were part of a big scanning project with Matt's vases.
An Antarctic explorer who lives at the edge of the Earth not only saw everything with his own eyes, but also managed to secretly film the dome supports and other strange things. His video will follow, but first I will voice his story. I was part of the 47th closed Antarctic expedition in 2002. When I was included in a research group that was heading inland, the driver of their car got sick, and I replaced him. Before starting the trip, the head of the expedition instructed me and forced me to sign a non-disclosure agreement. He told me to forget everything I was taught in school, that the Earth is a sphere. It is flat as your frying pan, and we are on the edge of it. Everything is covered with a dome. Don't tell anyone about what you'll see there in the ice. We were also prohibited from taking photos or making videos there. We drove south for 6 days until we reached a wide river with unfrozen water. The head of the group forbade touching the water, saying that there was radiation. But what was on the other side of the river gave me goosebumps. There was a massive metal support about 2 kilometers high. The leader said that such supports are installed around the Earth every 53 kilometers. Supporting the dome. What dome? I asked. Watch carefully, he said. Indeed, if you look closely, you can see that the sky looks like glass or blue plastic. And from time to time, fireballs flew by, rapidly soaring up the surface of the dome. I pretended to go to the toilet and slid behind an ice floe. I started shooting on an old hidden mobile phone. However, the phone was old and the camera was bad. This is what I managed to capture. Now skeptics probably can't wait to print comments.
Oh, it's a fake, an old phone, a bad camera. But there is one catch.
I would have thought the same thing if I hadn't stumbled across the following video. This video was shot from the same angle, from the same river, but not on an old phone and not in 2002. It was in 2017, and the quality is excellent. Two videos from different sources. Of course, they could all fantasize, but the most curious thing is that they all fantasize the same way. An Antarctic
Some of the craziest things that were recently discovered. Just last year, archaeologists in Lima, Peru came across a mummy that was bound in ropes in an underground tomb. It's estimated to be up to 1,200 years old, as rope binding was a traditional part of the local funeral process around that time. A linguistics study recently found that winter workers in Australia have started to develop an entirely new accent. This is a result of them being isolated and in regular contact with only each other for several months. In the early 1900s, British explorer Percy Fawcett theorized about an ancient lost city called Z that was somewhere in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. But he was never able to prove this myth since he vanished in 1925 during his third attempt to find the city. However, thanks to recent LiDAR technology, scientists have been able to digitally peel back part of the Amazon rainforest, revealing an extensive urban settlement that was heavily populated for many centuries. These areas are very difficult to excavate since they're very deep in the jungle, but scientists believe that within the next 10 to 20 years, our historical perception of the Amazon will completely change.
In 2024, scientists made several exciting discoveries about space. Here are 5 of them. On number 1, we have new exoplanets. Researchers found new planets orbiting distant stars. Some of these planets could have conditions suitable for life. Number 2, galaxies. Colliding. Telescopes observed galaxies crashing into each other. This collision creates new stars and changes the way galaxies look. Number 3, exploring the Kuiper Belt. Robots explored the Kuiper Belt, a region beyond Neptune. They discovered new icy objects that provide clues about how our solar system formed. Number 4, black hole. Dynamics. Scientists studied black holes and how they interact with their surroundings. New observations deepened our understanding of these mysterious cosmic phenomena. Number 5, cosmic radiation. Mysteries. Researchers investigated cosmic rays from distant sources. Understanding these rays can reveal more about the universe's energetic processes and origins.
Have y'all heard of the Bashenga tribe? Pictures of the Bashenga people along with leaked CIA documents have been circulating the dark web. This is super weird. It's said that this tribe was taken from West Africa to Antarctica as part of an experiment to see if melanated people could survive in the cold. But it gets really dark because the population of the tribe was reportedly ended after an anthropologist accidentally brought smallpox to the community. What's really strange is that there are pictures of artifacts and very tall wooden structures. Where did they get the wood from? Were there trees in Antarctica? Over time, the Bashenga people were claimed to have adapted to the cold in strange and amazing ways. They were happy to swim in the freezing sea and wore very little clothing, thriving in conditions that should have been impossible for them to endure. Researchers were apparently baffled by this, unable to understand how these adaptations were possible and unable to understand the language. The reports also describe a strange event involving the Bashenga people drinking a strange brown liquid and hallucinating, but there are no further details.
This is a fantastic find by some of my fellow cryptid researchers. They saved this creature, and right now it is being studied. MIT has DNA. Some of major universities around the world are studying this creature. Nobody really knows what it is. If you see, in a second, you're going to notice how heavy it is. It weighs almost 500 pounds. See how the boat, the kayak is sinking in the back? It's a beautiful creature. Good job. Bravo, Zulu.